Good morning. I'm out with my dogs for our morning walk, and it is beautiful this morning. Very clear air. I wanted to mention or talk about school-age kids, pre-K through 5. I teach elementary physical education, which I think I told you or mentioned in a previous video. I started in 1980. And it seemed like kids had a little bit more respect for teachers. And I'm not saying all kids, because there are a lot of kids still that do have respect. But it seems like back then, although we did have our rough and tough kids, back then I was taught K through 6, we did have some rough and tough kids that were very belligerent, very angry, swore a lot. But nowadays it just seems to be that nobody has any manners. I don't know if any other people see this or not. And it's even into young adults. I came out of a store the other day, and the woman came out through with her young daughter, and I went to step in the door and she let it go. And luckily, I had my wits about me or I would have run right into the door. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see where I'm going. You've seen my face enough this morning, so I'll turn it around. There we go. You can even see the dogs this way. And she let it go right in my face, and lucky enough, like I said, I had the wits about me to have my arm ready to grab it. But young kids that come to school, they don't seem to have any idea of please and thank you. They don't seem to have any idea of excuse me. They walk between two teachers when they're talking. Just general manners. Is it that kids aren't taught that anymore? We do live in an area of Maine that is not wealthy, and I'm not saying that wealthy people teach their kids better manners than not wealthy people, but it's a rural area and one of the poorest counties in the state. But to me, that should not be, how do I want to say it? It shouldn't be a factor as far as people using manners. The other thing too, and right around this area we have an awful lot of drug activity with the marijuana grow houses and things like that. But those families are not involved in that. This is something that the Chinese seem to be involved in, and they seem to be arresting a lot of them. But it's just the general manners. I have a hard time with kids not respecting. And of course you have to be taught to respect. And I don't know, I just feel very sad that this is what at least my surrounding society is right now. I don't know about other people. It seems that, as I said, kids will walk between teachers. You stop the child and you tell them to, go back and go around you, that it's not polite to walk in front of kids, to walk in front of people when they're talking. Kids getting in line, lining up has always been an issue with kids, especially some that think they have to be first at everything. So teachers will number them, and they all get to be the leader, or they all get to be the caboose at the end of the line, which I think is great. But even then, you'll have kids say, no, I'm the leader today. And they'll argue with you, and the other kids will go, no, so-and-so's the leader today. They're the helper, they're the ones that get to be first. No, I'm the one who's first. And we go on and on. So, that's an issue. If I seem like I'm rambling, probably I am, I don't mean to. But one big one for me is a disrespect towards each other. And I really feel that if you're not respecting yourself, then I think it's hard to respect somebody else. Well, you can see they're at it this morning. Trouble is, this doesn't wear them out. They go home and they want to play more, which is fine with me, but so they don't respect each other, and I find that disturbing, because I think if you're growing up as a child that doesn't respect someone else, you're going to have issues. We will always see bullies no matter what courses are taught in school or what programs are taught in school. You're always going to have bullies. And I think I've mentioned this in another video too. To me, you need to teach kids how to deal with bullies, how to deal with them, because I think they're always going to be there. Even in jobs, you know, your bosses can be bullies. The other thing is excluding kids. And maybe that doesn't have anything to do with manners, but to exclude kids on the playground because they just want to join in and have fun, to me is very disrespectful, and that has to do with manners as far as I'm concerned. I know I was brought up, and I was very lucky, my childhood, but I was brought up, you know, you didn't treat people like that. You treated people kindly. And you keep saying to kids, well, do you want them to do that to you? No. But I am really, every day that I go to work, surprised that some of these kids even make it to adulthood, because they come from pretty rough families. And you have drug parents, you have kids that are up most of the night because parents are fighting, or you have kids that know what it's like to have the sheriff knock on the door or see their parent arrested, which obviously that is so detrimental to kids, and it has to affect them. It has to affect them. So it's discouraging in some respects because of what they grow up in. Them coming to school for a few hours a day isn't necessarily going to help them conquer some of those things. I just hope as they get a little older that they find somebody in school, a mentor or someone like that, that they will respect enough so that they can help them. The other thing that I find that bothers me is this: when you say something to a child, you expect them to act a certain way or whatever, it's no. No. And they use the word no a lot. Now, do they hear no at home every time they want to try to do something? Maybe they do. Maybe they do hear no a lot. But it's a very defiant no. And that, to me, is just refusal to do something. Are there consequences? Yes. But to me, I would rather take the time to explain to them that there are things in life, and we go through this, you're going to have to do, and you're not going to be able to say no. There are times when kids will actually get mad at somebody, and of course they want to hit them. And I think probably they've seen that at home. Someone gets punched out, and so they figure it's okay to do. But anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. But I worry about manners. I worry about how we treat other people. And I see this in these young kids. And it is kind of disturbing to think that young that they really act that way. And it seems to me to be getting worse. So I don't know what anybody has any thoughts on it or not. If you do, certainly share them. I find it, disturbing, as I said. I think that it is upsetting because these are sweet little kids. I mean, they're kids. They're little, 5 years old, 6 years old. Of course, as they get up to 9 and 10 and 11, it gets a little different, but some of them are very, very young. So anyway, if you have any thoughts on it, certainly shoot a comment. But I love my job. I love working with kids, and hopefully along the way I've taught a few things to them that they can take through life. But not being a classroom teacher, I only see them once a week, and only seeing them once a week is hard because there's not any follow through. I see them in the hallways and things, but it's not the same as having them in a classroom. So anyway, take care, have a wonderful day, be good to yourself, and I will sign off. Thank you very much.